The secret role of Mossad and the CIA in the capture of Maduro in Venezuela. The Israeli Mossad's involvement in the capture of Nicolás Maduro proved to be absolutely decisive in the operation's success. The collaboration between Israeli intelligence operatives and the Central Intelligence Agency in the Venezuelan theater completely transformed the mission's trajectory, introducing sophisticated infiltration techniques and data collection methodologies that ensured the ultimate triumph of this complex undertaking. Mossad has earned its global reputation through decades of unparalleled expertise in penetrating hostile environments and gathering critical intelligence without detection. Their operational philosophy centers on becoming invisible within enemy territory while maintaining constant surveillance capabilities. In Venezuela, these seasoned intelligence operatives successfully breached areas under strict Chavista control, systematically approaching key figures within the regime and acquiring vital information that significantly strengthened real-time intelligence generation, ultimately culminating in the successful apprehension of the Venezuelan dictator. American intelligence agencies had already positioned a deep-cover operative within the regime's inner circle, tasked with maintaining close proximity to Maduro while meticulously documenting his daily routines. This embedded agent recorded precise details, including the dictator's sleep schedule, clothing preferences, security protocols, and the exact number of bodyguards protecting him at any given moment. The operative's access allowed for unprecedented insight into Maduro's personal habits and vulnerability windows. With Mossad's collaborative support, this intelligence was cross-referenced and verified through multiple independent sources, resulting in a comprehensive behavioral profile of the Venezuelan leader. The integration of Israeli analytical expertise with American field intelligence created an unusually detailed operational picture. This cooperation demonstrated the effectiveness of combining different intelligence methodologies and cultural approaches to surveillance. Based on this meticulously gathered intelligence, the United States military constructed an exact replica of Maduro's fortified bunker complex, enabling Delta Force operators to conduct extensive training exercises in simulated environments. According to Reuters news agency reports, American soldiers created a precise duplicate of Maduro's protected residence specifically for rehearsing their entry procedures and tactical approaches. The importance of accurate intelligence in special operations cannot be overstated. Elite military units depend entirely on field-generated data to construct their operational frameworks. Without precise information, any military action faces significant risk of catastrophic failure. The meticulous collection of behavioral patterns, structural details, and security protocols guaranteed that military operators understood exactly where to strike and how to neutralize each potential obstacle they might encounter. This operation required months of careful planning and seamless coordination between all branches of the United States Armed Forces and intelligence community. According to Reuters reports, the CIA successfully infiltrated multiple spies into Venezuela, with at least one operative maintaining direct proximity to Maduro to monitor every movement and decision made by the dictator. This level of penetration required extraordinary patience and operational discipline. While Delta Force ultimately executed Maduro's capture, numerous other elite units, including Marine Raiders, Navy SEALs, and Drug Enforcement Administration agents, operated simultaneously on different fronts throughout the complex mission. Each unit had specific objectives designed to support the primary capture operation, while securing secondary targets and preventing regime counterattacks. The intelligence reports delivered to military commanders contained far more than simple location data. These comprehensive briefings detailed structural access points, potential escape routes, available defensive equipment, and the specific capabilities of Maduro's security apparatus. This information allowed military planners to anticipate every possible scenario and develop contingency plans for various complications. Intelligence operatives also identified periods of maximum vulnerability within Maduro's routine. Understanding when the dictator was isolated or operating with reduced security coverage proved crucial for selecting the precise moment to initiate the capture operation. Timing had to be perfect to minimize resistance and prevent the target's escape. President Trump had authorized the capture operation 4 days prior to its execution, but military commanders delayed implementation while waiting for improved weather conditions in Venezuela. Heavy cloud cover had persisted for several days, limiting visibility and potentially compromising helicopter operations. Weather conditions play a critical role in special operations, affecting everything from air support to satellite surveillance capabilities. When atmospheric conditions finally stabilized and clear skies emerged, the operation commenced immediately, with American forces executing their carefully rehearsed mission plan with surgical precision. Venezuelan military forces opened fire on the approaching aircraft, but the assault teams successfully penetrated the defensive perimeter and began systematically searching the fortress complex for their primary target. According to President Trump's subsequent statements, the dictator and his wife attempted to flee into their underground bunker facility, but failed to secure the entrance in time before American forces breached their position. The Israeli intelligence agency's contribution to this operation extended far beyond traditional intelligence gathering. Their unparalleled expertise in population infiltration became a cornerstone of the mission's success. Mossad operatives demonstrated their legendary ability to blend seamlessly into local communities, becoming virtually invisible among Caracas neighborhoods while collecting vital information without arousing any suspicion from regime security forces. These Israeli agents employed sophisticated cover identities and spent months establishing authentic Venezuelan personas, learning local dialects, customs, and social behaviors that would allow them to operate undetected within Chavista-controlled territories. Their infiltration techniques, refined through decades of operations in hostile Middle Eastern environments, proved remarkably adaptable to the Latin American context. The psychological operations component of this mission proved equally crucial. Individuals within Maduro's inner circle were gradually approached and convinced to collaborate with intelligence services, providing sensitive data that dramatically accelerated the process of locating and tracking the dictator's movements. These recruitment operations required extraordinary patience and psychological insight to identify potential assets and exploit their vulnerabilities or motivations. Mossad's human intelligence specialists excelled at identifying regime insiders who had become disillusioned with Maduro's leadership or who could be motivated through financial incentives, family concerns, or ideological appeals. The recruitment process often took months of careful cultivation, building trust and establishing secure communication channels that would not be detected by Venezuelan counterintelligence services. During the actual assault, the Venezuelan regime claimed at least 40 casualties, though this information remains unconfirmed through independent sources. The intensity of explosions and sporadic combat throughout Caracas demonstrated the overwhelming force of the offensive, while simultaneously revealing the fundamental weakness of Maduro's defensive capabilities. The regime's security apparatus, despite years of preparation and significant financial investment, proved unable to withstand a coordinated assault by elite American forces. The Chavista dictator was successfully captured alive along with his wife and has since been transported to a federal detention facility within the United States. He now faces prosecution for an extensive range of criminal charges spanning from international drug trafficking operations to the summary execution of political opponents. The legal proceedings are expected to reveal the full extent of his regime's criminal activities over the past decade. However, the operation that resulted in Maduro's capture does not conclude this new chapter in Venezuelan history. Pedro Lopez, Venezuela's defense minister, and Diosdado Cabello, widely considered the second most powerful figure within the Chavista movement, remain active and continue to face indictments from American justice authorities. Their continued presence in Venezuela suggests that additional American operations may occur at any moment. The successful American intervention in Venezuela demonstrated that effective integration between the CIA and Mossad possesses the capability to dismantle even the most insular and heavily defended authoritarian regimes. The precision of collected intelligence proved to be the decisive factor that guaranteed the mission's success, overcoming the significant challenges posed by operating in a hostile territory with limited local support. President Trump celebrated Maduro's capture as a landmark victory in the global fight against terrorism and authoritarian oppression, emphasizing that international cooperation remains essential for effectively confronting dictators and criminal organizations that threaten regional stability and democratic values. The operation served as a demonstration of American resolve and capabilities in dealing with hostile regimes throughout the hemisphere. The strategic implications of this operation extend far beyond Venezuela's borders. The successful coordination between American and Israeli intelligence services establishes a precedent for future collaborative operations against authoritarian regimes worldwide. This partnership combines American technological capabilities and military resources with Israeli expertise in covert operations and human intelligence gathering. The psychological impact on other authoritarian leaders throughout Latin America and beyond cannot be underestimated. The operation demonstrates that geographic distance and defensive fortifications cannot protect dictators from the consequences of their actions when they threaten American interests or commit crimes against humanity. Venezuelan petroleum reserves have consistently represented one of the United States' primary strategic objectives throughout Latin America, a fact that remains widely acknowledged among geopolitical analysts and energy industry experts. The country possesses what many consider to be the world's largest proven oil reserves, exceeding even those of Saudi Arabia and Iran, making it an irresistible target for major powers seeking energy security and economic influence. Beyond petroleum, Venezuela contains extraordinary mineral wealth that surpasses the combined mining resources of entire African regions. The nation's gold deposits alone represent trillions of dollars in potential extraction value, while rare earth elements crucial for modern technology applications lie largely untapped beneath Venezuelan territory. This concentration of natural resources creates an almost irresistible strategic target for any global superpower. The fact remains indisputable that Venezuela possesses arguably the planet's largest concentration of petroleum and mineral resources. While news organizations may characterize the current situation as a humanitarian crisis, business analysts recognize it more accurately as a failed state scenario. Similar examples of state failure in recent history include Yemen, Iraq, and Syria, all of which have experienced varying degrees of external intervention following governmental collapse. Some Brazilian commentators have criticized the American-orchestrated removal of Maduro, arguing that the genuine motivation involves seizing control of Venezuela's massive petroleum reserves rather than humanitarian concerns. This criticism reflects broader Latin American skepticism about American interventions throughout the region's history, dating back to Cold War-era operations that prioritized strategic resources over human rights considerations. However, the fundamental question becomes whether maintaining Venezuelan people under the brutal oppression of Maduro's regime, forcing them to survive in inhumane conditions, including scavenging for food among garbage, represents a preferable alternative to allowing the United States to manage these resources while providing the country with opportunities for improved living conditions, adequate nutrition, and basic human dignity. The intelligence operation that preceded Maduro's capture required unprecedented coordination between multiple agencies and operational disciplines. Mossad's contribution extended beyond traditional espionage activities to include sophisticated electronic surveillance, communications interception, and behavioral analysis that provided American forces with tactical advantages unavailable through conventional intelligence methods. The psychological warfare component of the operation proved equally sophisticated. Israeli specialists in influence operations worked systematically to undermine regime confidence and create divisions within Maduro's inner circle. These efforts included strategic disinformation campaigns designed to increase paranoia among Chavista leadership, while simultaneously encouraging defections among military commanders who had grown disillusioned with the regime's direction. The operation's success depended heavily on real-time intelligence fusion, combining satellite surveillance, electronic intercepts, human intelligence reports, and behavioral analysis into a comprehensive operational picture that allowed military commanders to make informed decisions throughout the mission's execution. This level of intelligence integration represents a significant advancement in modern special operations capabilities. Mossad's expertise in penetrating hostile territory proved invaluable in establishing secure communication networks that could operate undetected within Venezuela's heavily monitored telecommunications environment. Israeli technicians deployed sophisticated encryption systems and covert communication platforms that allowed embedded operatives to maintain contact with command centers without alerting regime counterintelligence services. The recruitment and handling of human assets within the Venezuelan government required extraordinary operational security measures. Mossad case officers employed advanced tradecraft techniques to protect their sources while maximizing intelligence collection opportunities. This included establishing multiple backup communication methods, creating plausible cover for operational meetings, and developing secure methods for transferring sensitive documents and recordings. The integration of Israeli and American operational capabilities created synergistic effects that exceeded what either agency could have accomplished independently. American technological advantages, combined with Israeli human intelligence expertise and operational creativity, produced an intelligence picture of unprecedented accuracy and detail. The operation also demonstrated the effectiveness of patient-e long-term intelligence development over reactive approaches to crisis management. The months of careful preparation, asset recruitment, and operational planning proved crucial when the opportunity for action finally emerged. This methodical approach reflects both agencies' commitment to operational excellence and their understanding that successful outcomes require sustained effort rather than improvised responses. The psychological impact of the operation extends far beyond Venezuela's borders, sending a clear message to authoritarian regimes worldwide that geographic isolation and defensive preparations cannot protect leaders who threaten American interests or engage in systematic human rights violations against their own populations. The successful execution of this complex intelligence operation fundamentally altered the geopolitical landscape throughout Latin America and established new precedents for international cooperation in combating authoritarian regimes. The collaboration between Mossad and the CIA demonstrated that even the most heavily fortified dictatorships cannot withstand coordinated intelligence operations supported by advanced military capabilities and sustained political commitment. The precision timing of the operation reflected months of careful surveillance and behavioral analysis. Intelligence operatives had identified specific windows of vulnerability in Maduro's security protocols, including periods when his protective detail was reduced and his movements became predictable. This detailed understanding of the target's patterns proved crucial in selecting the optimal moment for military action, while minimizing risks to both American forces and civilian populations. The technological integration between Israeli and American intelligence systems created unprecedented situational awareness for military commanders. Real-time data fusion allowed operational planners to monitor changing conditions throughout the mission and adapt their tactics accordingly. This technological synergy represents a significant advancement in modern special operations capabilities and establishes a model for future collaborative efforts. The human intelligence network established by Mossad operatives within Venezuelan territory provided crucial insights that satellite surveillance and electronic intercepts could not deliver. These embedded assets reported on regime morale, internal power struggles, and potential escape routes that Maduro might attempt to utilize during a crisis. This ground truth intelligence proved invaluable in anticipating and countering the dictator's defensive strategies. The operation's success has generated significant debate among international observers regarding the ethical and legal implications of cross-border operations targeting sovereign governments. Critics argue that such interventions violate principles of national sovereignty and international law, while supporters contend that humanitarian concerns and national security interests justify action against criminal regimes that threaten regional stability. The economic dimensions of this operation cannot be ignored. Venezuela's vast petroleum and mineral resources represent strategic assets of enormous value to any nation capable of developing them effectively. The country's proven oil reserves exceed 300 billion barrels, while its gold, diamond, and rare earth deposits remain largely unexploited due to political instability and mismanagement under Chavista leadership. The infrastructure destruction resulting from years of economic mismanagement under Maduro's regime has created massive reconstruction opportunities that will require international investment and expertise. American and allied companies are positioned to play leading roles in rebuilding Venezuela's energy sector, modernizing its mining operations, and restoring basic services to the Venezuelan population. The intelligence cooperation between Israel and the United States in this operation reflects broader strategic partnerships that extend far beyond Latin America. Both nations share common interests in combating terrorism, preventing nuclear proliferation, and maintaining regional stability in multiple theaters worldwide. The Venezuelan operation demonstrates how these partnerships can produce decisive results when properly coordinated and resourced. The psychological warfare component of the operation included sophisticated disinformation campaigns designed to undermine regime confidence and encourage defections among military commanders. These efforts proved particularly effective among younger officers who had witnessed the economic devastation caused by Chavista policies and recognized the futility of continued resistance against overwhelming American military superiority. The aftermath of Maduro's capture has created significant opportunities for Venezuelan civil society to rebuild democratic institutions and restore constitutional governance. However, the presence of remaining Chavista leaders like Padrino Lopez and Diosdado Cabello suggests that additional operations may be necessary to completely dismantle the criminal networks that have controlled Venezuela for over 2 decades. The international legal proceedings against Maduro are expected to reveal extensive evidence of systematic human rights violations, drug trafficking operations, and economic crimes that have devastated Venezuelan society. These revelations will likely strengthen international support for the operation, while providing legal justification for additional actions against remaining regime elements. The strategic precedent established by this operation extends far beyond Venezuela's borders, sending clear signals to other authoritarian leaders throughout Latin America and beyond that geographic distance, and defensive preparations cannot protect regimes that threaten American interests or engage in systematic oppression of their populations. The intelligence methodologies pioneered in this operation will likely influence future collaborative efforts between allied intelligence services. The successful integration of different operational cultures and technical capabilities demonstrates the potential for enhanced international cooperation in addressing transnational security challenges. The ultimate success of this operation will be measured not only by Maduro's capture, but by Venezuela's ability to transition toward democratic governance and economic recovery. The country's vast natural resources provide the foundation for potential prosperity, but realizing this potential will require sustained international support and careful management of the reconstruction process. The collaboration between Mossad and the CIA in Venezuela represents a new paradigm for international intelligence cooperation, demonstrating that shared strategic interests can overcome traditional barriers to operational integration and produce decisive results against even the most challenging targets.